Hello everybody, my name is Manika, and it's finally time. We've been through all of the normal playsets from the LEGO One Piece line, but there's one more playset that is a little bit different. So today, join me as we take a look, in an overview style fashion, of the LEGO One Piece set number 75640. The Baratie, the floating restaurant. The restaurant on the sea. Goodness gracious. I always hoped for LEGO One Piece. Maybe not always, but once I got into One Piece, I was like, this would make a great LEGO theme. And then, when we got the announcement, I thought surely the Mary's gonna be the big 18+ set that we're hearing rumors about. But no! It chose the Baratie, which I personally think is a better choice. But we'll get there philosophically eventually. But today we're just getting an overview of the model, because I don't have the time or energy to write out a script quite yet. We'll get to something like that later. Looking at the box, you can tell it's the live action's Baratie. It's a little bit different from the anime's Baratie. Has a bit more of an elegant look to it, which I guess is fair. So it is nice that we're getting a version of the Baratie in any form, in LEGO form, I guess. But it is nice to see. It obviously has all the iconic elements. It's got the lighthouse on top. It's got the ship-like aesthetic. It's got the big old fish head, which is wonderful. It's got some other elements that I'm really excited about. But yeah, this set costs $330 at release, I think, if I remember correctly, and it seems to be selling well. This is the Baratie floating restaurant. I should get out of the way. It's on a plain black background. This is normal for 18+ LEGO sets, but it is also really sad and depressing to me. I wish this had as nice of a box art as all the other One Piece sets in this wave, but unfortunately, since it's an 18+ set, it's stuck with this garbage. Anyways, like I said, it is an 18+ set. As you can see, it's for adults. So get the fuck out of here, children. You're not allowed into this video. It is set number 75640. Has a total of 3,402 pieces. Is the Baratie. It's from the live-action One Piece. And yeah, it's a LEGO product. Anyways, on this side, hopefully I don't knock into anything, it has, in different languages, that you get the posters, and you get the Baratie, floating restaurant. On the other side, you get the fish head, where Usopp is telling stories to Mihawk while drunk or whatever. At the top, it says LEGO One Piece. At the bottom, it's got this green bar. The top of the box gives us a look at the minifigure lineup, which is very appreciated and nice to see, as well as a 1-to-1 scale for one of the mermaids. But as you can see, you get Luffy, Garp, Zoro, Mihawk, Nami, Usopp, Zeph, Sanji, Kobe, and Helmeppo. The bottom, I believe, is just the green brick patterning that we can see here at the bottom. Just continued with like barcodes and like app information, so nothing too crazy. We've seen that before. Turning it around though, we get a better look at the set itself. You get 5 random one posters, tying it in with the rest of the One Piece wave. It's a LEGO One Piece product. We get a better look at the interior, the backside of the Baratie, the full restaurant, which looks very nice. And then we get a look at some of its features, places for minifigures to sit, a little gear function for the sake of Zoro and Mihawk's fight, and then the dimensions. It is 35 centimeters long and 27 centimeters tall. I am going to have space for this. Definitely. That's the box, but what's a toy doing when it's in a box? Nothing. So that's why we gotta unbox this shit. Hope to see you there in like a second. And we are back, finally. This was a fucking 4-day production. Goodness gracious. This was a lot. I decided against building it all in one go because that would have been really bad, and I wanted to enjoy myself while building this. But this took like 3 days to build. I did about a booklet a day, and even still, that was about 2.5 hours of building a day, which is like goodness gracious. But anyways, here we are, finally, with the largest set of the wave, the Baratie. And man, this thing's fucking crazy big. It's also really cool. I don't think I had as fun of a time building it as I did the Going Merry, but it's still full of really interesting building techniques, and it all comes together really well. I really like how, like, these sides of the ship are essentially clipped on, and then especially the way they're secured, especially this side. This side is secured in a really fun way that I really like. But as per usual with the channel, we have to start with the accessories, which in this case are the minifigures, because minifigures are accessories, guys. I don't know what you're on about. Let's start with some of the ones that we've pretty much already seen. We'll start with the most common minifigure of the entire wave, Nami. Give me a sec to get her unfolded, because I had her sitting for that opening shot. You've seen this minifigure before. She doesn't come with her staff, unfortunately, but that's a very common piece. This is the same Nami that you saw in the Going Merry. This is the same one you saw in the Buggy set. Same really nice torso printing, same dual molded arms, same fairly nice legs that I don't really know how they would have done otherwise. Same really nice hair piece with the same face print that has her aggressive expression and her normal expression. We've seen her. I'm not going to spend too much time on her. And then a very similar story, though a little bit more exclusive, is Usopp. We've seen this Usopp before. It's the same one in the Going Merry, the same dual molded hairpiece, which is very impressive, same bag, same torso printing, same fun face print, same armband print. It is very nice. This is a good Usopp figure, one of the best minifigures of the wave, and I like him. As far as Straw Hats go, the next one, technically exclusive, but like all the parts for this come in other sets. This is just an exclusive combination to this set. Luffy. He has his straw hat and the same face print that has this big broad smile and then this aggressive sort of teeth gritted face that you saw in Arlong Park. But otherwise it's the same. It's a very well done minifigure, one of the best of the wave. Nice dual molded legs with some very nice printing, good torso, good arms. We've seen that Luffy before. Finally, though, in terms of common minifigures, is, funnily enough, the most common Zoro variant because the designers were clever. I went over how this is somewhat fine for Buggy, I think. But this Zoro minifigure is made for this set. I'm sorry, I know people don't get why this is the more common, but that's because the Zoro was made for this set and then looked fine for Buggy's set in terms of accuracy. I have him with his swords in. Don't worry, I'm not going to show him too off, but he does come with his green hairpiece. But I have him with his swords, which I think is appropriate given the set we're about to look at. But that's all of the pre-existing minifigures out of the way. Might as well now get to the exclusives, because this set has a total of 10 minifigures, 6 of which are just completely exclusive as characters. Of course, we've mentioned the Luffy kind of technically being exclusive as a combination of parts, but you can make him if you have a Going Merry and a Arlong Park. And that's cheaper than just buying this set. The next set of minifigures are just exclusive, and I think we might as well round out the Straw Hats with this set's exclusive Straw Hat minifigure. And finally, a second look for this character, we have Sanji. He has the same sort of face where it's this smirk that's new, and then this generic Jonesy face print on the other side. Same hairpiece that covers up one eye, but the torso print is new and exclusive. It looks accurate enough to his appearance in the episode 5, Eat at Baratie. And it's nice to have a chef costume Sanji, but, you know, it's nothing too crazy. I like it. It's a good minifigure, and I think it fits for the set. Going off of that, we have the primary proprietor of the Baratie and former captain of the Cook Pirates, Zeph. He's fine. I like that he has his peg leg, though I do wish it had like some printing on it or whatever. I do really like the torso printing. It's perfect for Zeph. There's the back of it. And the face printing is also pretty good. It might be a generic face print, I don't know, but it does work for Zeph. And he gets a brand new exclusive mustache. which is nice and long and perfect for Zeph, and it fits, and this should have been the color of the straw hat, honestly. This is apparently a new color for LEGO this summer, and they only used it for Zeph here, but this is probably the color the straw hat should have been. Maybe I'm picky, but the cute orange works fine. I get it. If there's any problems with the set, he has this sort of Zane hairpiece, which does work, and like he does wear his hair like this often in the series, but I wish he had his hat. He has this really tall hat in the series, so I wish he had that. I'm sure you can 3D print it. I might ask some friends to 3D print that hat. We shall see. But anyways, up next, I think we should get to the marine presence in this set, because it's the only marine presence in this wave, which is interesting. Like, I get it. Design-wise, I don't know where you would have fit the Marines otherwise. But it is nice to actually have the Marines that follow them in the live action, because they are some prominent characters for later on in One Piece. We have Luffy's grandfather and a Vice Admiral of the Marines, Vice Admiral Garp. And he's a fairly plain minifigure, though his face print does work, his hair does work for Garp. He seems a bit small, but that's just because minifigures. I wish these epaulets had some gold on them, but they are the classic epaulets. But the torso print is pretty perfect. I wish he had the Justice on the back, though. I might buy a cape and have Justice written on it and put it under like the epaulet or whatever. And he has some plain white pants, which looks a little bit more plain. I've been fine with plain pants for the majority of these characters, but for Garp, given he's so like whitely colored, it just seems a bit generic and a bit cheap. But it's fine. This is a good Garp. I should also show his alternate face, which is a bit more stern than the smile we got earlier. It works. I feel like I've seen this face print before in other sets, but it works for Garp. I like it. Next up, we have our Marine Cadets. First, starting off, I guess, with the less important of the characters to the overall One Piece series, Helmeppo, which is kind of perfect. That smarmy face is perfect for Helmeppo. The haircut is also perfect for Helmeppo. He has these dual molded arms and some generic black pants that make me really hope that this torso print and leg, or this torso print does show up on LEGO Pick-a-Brick, so I can just make a bunch of Marine Cadets. And then his alternate face is also really good. He has this like worried look, which is just perfect. It's a perfect Helmeppo. As much as I didn't necessarily need a perfect Helmeppo, it's a perfect Helmeppo, and a lot of these minifigures are just in general really good. Next up though is an even more perfect character somehow. We have Kobe. Kobe is a much more important character to One Piece, which is why I care about him being perfect a little bit more. But yeah, this Kobe is great. Same torso and legs as Helmeppo, which makes sense, but the face and the hair really do it. This face, both sides, this happier expression and this more worried expression, look perfectly like Kobe, especially an earlier Kobe. Also, I love the Marine logo on the back of this print. It looks great. And this hairpiece, I don't know where it's from, but this is just Kobe's hair. Done up in pink, that's just Kobe's hair. Yeah, Kobe. I'm so glad to have a Kobe, given how important he is. And then I guess it's time to round out the Marines kind of technically with a Warlord of the Sea. The only Warlord of the Sea that we see at this point in the series, and probably going to be one of the most desired and expensive minifigures when these sets go off the market, even when they're on the market probably. We have the one, the only, Dracule Hawkeye's Mihawk. And yeah, he's pretty dang good. My big complaint, I'll get that out of the way. I wish they made a new hat for him that had a feather in it. As it is, this feels a little bit plain and generic, but I've got to give it up for everything else. I get what they did. He has his nice yellow eyes, which are perfect for Mihawk. He has really well done facial hair, which again, perfect for Mihawk. The torso print is really good. I feel like I have to say this. When printing like skin colors or whatever onto like dark colored pieces, or even just printing skin colors in general, LEGO can tend to print it on pretty lightly, which makes the figures look pretty ugly, which, editor, I hope you're sprucing this up. Editor. This torso print is exceptionally high quality. Is it perfectly color matched? Not really, but it is really nice looking. It is very, you can't really see the black bleeding through his torso, which I think is great. And then of course you have his hat falling off. Sorry about that. Then you have his pants going up, but then he has his cloak sort of going off to the sides, and then he has his boots, which also look really good. And it's a really good minifigure. The hat does kind of let him down, I think, if it'll fucking focus. But yeah, he also has a back torso print. He doesn't have his secondary head, which has more of that nice sort of regality to it. But one of the craziest things. You saw one of his accessories. He's holding a golden dagger, which is fitting, but also they made a new Yoru mold. This is his sword, the Yoru, and yeah, it's perfect. It is a perfectly sculpted Yoru. It is absolutely wonderful looking, and I just love it so much. And I'm really glad they did it. And you can see this little circle, which looks like the greebling on his sword, is actually like a bar connection, so he can stick it onto his back, and that's also just really cool. And this makes it, even though he's a little bit weak, it's one of the cooler minifigures of the line, and I'm really happy that it's here. But now it's time to look at the set itself, kind of, because we have to look at the side build. This is one of like two, three-ish sets that has a side build, and like, it's a good side build, even though it really didn't need to be there technically. It doesn't take up too much of the space of the set. It really only takes up about one bag, probably around like around 100 parts, I want to say, probably less though, of the overall 3,400 part budget, and I love that it's here. You get Mihawk's ship. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. I'll have to do research into that later, but it's his weird coffin-shaped ship. It's a little bit gappy on the bottom, and it feels a little bit less sturdy than most of the other builds. Like, I've had the front bit kind of pop off on me a few too many times to count, but I love how the angling works on this set to get that perfect coffin shape. I love that it is here at all, even if it does have orange candles instead of green ones, like it's supposed to. I love how the sail is done. I love how he can sit here. I just love that this was included at all, because this only in the live action appears like barely. Like it appears in the background of the flashback in the first episode because Mihawk was there. But like it doesn't show up anywhere else in the live action series, so they really didn't have to include this. But whoever designed this set, I forget the name off the top of my head, he did a little designer interview before the sets came out, but whoever did design this set clearly loves One Piece and was like, I need to have Mihawk's ship here, because him rocking up to the Baratie is one of the coolest moments in the entire fucking series. But yeah, it's a great little build. It's a nice little ship to have, and it's nice to have a second pirate ship in the series. But now I think it's time to go over the Baratie itself. First off, we'll look at the exterior. As you can tell, it is really big. It's very long and pretty dang tall. It's like 10.5 inches tall. It's like, I don't even know how long it is. The measurements on the back of the box, I'm gonna be lazy about it. I'll make a more important video later. But yeah, this is a damn good set. As you can tell, it just looks big and impressive and just very nice while being bright and colorful, even though the live action series does tend to mute the colors a little bit. It's just a damn perfect Baratie. I'm gonna move Mihawk's ship. I'm also gonna move the camera so that we can get a little bit of a closer look. So here we have the main door. As you can tell, there's a lot of stickers, which is probably the most annoying part of this set. It's a little bit awkward to get some of the stickers perfect. I did not get that door perfect, unfortunately, but it works, and it does set up this beautiful little scene here at the front, here with the deck, so that you can mimic the sword fight. So I'll put Zoro here on that stud, and then I'll put Mihawk on this other stud where there's a round tile. And these are actually moving tiles, so you can see this little gear that does blend really well into the sort of like water crashing into the ship. And there's this gear here, and when you spin it, it moves the minifigures. I wish there was a little bit more resistance in the gear, a little bit more friction just for the sake of hand feel, but it's fine, it works, and I really like how this sword fighting works, even if there is a bit of a gap between the figures. When Mihawk's holding Yoru, he's able to knock someone down fine. But yeah, this looks nice. I like the little two mermaid sort of statues that look great. I like how it says Baratie. I like the overall sculpting and the shaping. These little lights are attached interestingly well. It looks like they're attached up here by like a clip or something. They're actually attached to a stud in like behind them, which is interesting as hell, to say the least. Also, if you like magnifying glasses, you're gonna get a lot of magnifying glasses. There's just so many in this fucking set. It's insane a little bit. But yeah, I do really like how the gold railing overall was done on the ship. This ship also has an interesting like game with scaling, I guess the term would be, where like this is like very much perfectly minifigure scale, and then as we go on, things kind of start to get miniaturized. This side doesn't have it as much as we get to the windows, which are very nice looking. And then this door, which has Sanji's skull and crossbones for some reason, even though it only appears in the show like once and in like one of the title crawls, which are like non-diegetic. Yeah, you can open this up with its little deck, which people have said is removable, even though I don't think it's meant to be. And you get a nice little doorway into the kitchen, which is nice. But as we get to this side, you see that that door on the fish head gets miniaturized. Because, again, like the Mary, this is playing with scale, and I think it doesn't work quite as well on this model, but I do think it generally works. I like the way that it looks, and I do understand the need to not make this too big. The fish head, also magnificently sculpted. There's a decent number of big pieces, actually. We've got these Dreams tubes, we've got these little hole pieces, we got these bends. There's a lot of big pieces in this set that especially go into making this fish head, and it looks great. It looks perfect. It looks just like it does in the series, and also you have, if I move these a little bit, proper bar access in there. It's a little bit hard to see given I'm trying to really angle this light, but yeah, you can see fish head is the bar. It looks very nice, and I do like that you can just plonk minifigures in there, and you can plonk minifigures on that seat there, and it looks great. Moving on to the upper deck, it's basically just a bunch of spacious studs, which is nice to have. I do like having space. So there are some nice seats. There's like a lime, there's like cups, and there's meat. There's like those flowers. And this is where we get the Baratie sign, which again, sticker, but it's fine if annoying. I wish there were more prints, but whatever. And then things really get to start miniaturized with this little bit at the top. I get it. Again, we don't want this thing to be too wide and too tall. But in its miniaturization, it tends to, if you, I'll hold it out like this, it tends to leave a much bigger gap between here and here than it does in the series, which makes it look a little awkward, but I do like this little upper area, which I do think is meant to be removable, mainly for transport, because it's not held in nearly as well as that one is. But yeah, I do really like it. It has the nice shaping, that has that really intricate ship sort of shape, and then also here at the top we have the lighthouse, which, while small and simple, does look really nice next to those two, and we have this sort of angelic figure as a figurehead, and we get also a ton of nice little bits of lighting, which is great to see. But yeah, it is very nice from the exterior, but where it is honestly kind of nicer is from the interior, which we'll cut away to now. Sorry for cutting out like that. I accidentally pressed like an AI button, which I did not mean to press. Fuck Google Gemini or AI or whatever. Get that out of YouTube. Stop trying to age verify people with AI. Anyways, we have this side of the ship, which looks very nice. I didn't really get a look at the edge of this bow here, but again, very nicely sculpted with some nice gold parts. We have like a little flower there, and it's a bit less spacious than this side, but that works fine. And then we move to this upper area, which I think I mentioned it before, but just in case I didn't, it is removable. It's held in with like 6-8 studs, but it is nicely removable, primarily I imagine for transport, because I don't really see myself displaying this on its own without the rest of the Baratie. It's really just for easier viewing of this part of the ship, or for like transport, but it is convenient that it is removable. And this area outside of these little viewing decks up here is mostly like a treasure storage area, I imagine for the last remnants of the Cook Pirates, which is nice. I'll have to look in to see if any of these are actual treasures from the series, again, like the ones in the Mary. But either way, it's nice to have some treasure. And then here we have a back-end view of this little bit. But yeah, I think that rounds out our overview look at the Baratie. It's a very good set. I don't think I like it as much as the Mary, and I think I recommend the Mary more in part because it is cheaper. Yeah, it's just an impressive set that I'm glad to have, and I'm glad was made to be this big, but I do not think you necessarily need, which I think is this perfect balance. I think it's good that you don't necessarily need it, but for the people who want it, it is amazing. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little video. I hope you enjoyed my overview of all of these LEGO One Piece sets. I'm sure I'm going to do more videos on these sets. I have plans already, which we'll get to, but with this being the end of this little overview series, I hope you stick around. If there are more LEGO One Piece sets, I'm sure I'm gonna pick them up and look at them again, but if there are other LEGO sets you think I should look at, let me know in the comments below. I'll see what I can do, as long as it's not from a certain Wizard franchise that I refuse to cover on this channel. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Do not forget to do the usual YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how I can improve. Let me know what you think of this video, and until next time, I'll see you around. Bye-bye!